Let me bring in again our US analyst, Kristin Tate, joining us. Late nights, value you staying up late for us, Kristin. Only 5 o'clock in Australia, you'll appreciate. Now, it is day 2 of the Trump second presidency. The left don't seem to understand it. Some of them are in denial. Many still remain in open hostility.
Yeah, the left is in complete meltdown mode. I know a lot of liberals. I live in Boston. Yes, I have many of these people in my family. And this is much more devastating to them than 2016 was. In 2016, they kind of said, well, this was a fluke, you know. But this time, a message has been clearly sent from the American people that they unequivocally deny and reject the radical left ideas the Democrats put forward. And I kind of feel for these liberals. It's bad being in that position. I was a conservative in Joe Biden's America. And it's even worse for them now because mainstream brands and celebrities are even kind of warming to Trump. We saw Snoop Dogg and Carrie Underwood, 2 huge U.S. stars, performing at inauguration events. We saw Oscar de la Renta designing these gowns for people like Ivanka Trump. So the question is, what are they going to do now? And the smart ones will sit down and recalibrate and figure out how to make their message palatable going forward.
I'm going to come back to fashion with you in a moment if we get some time, but I want to stay on this theme. And you would have seen the comments from the pastor I showed earlier in the National Cathedral today. Extraordinary virtue signalling, extraordinary sanctimony over such a crucial issue. I've got to show everybody a little bit more of this. Her name is Bishop Marion Edgar Budd, and here's a little bit more of that speech directly to the President in the National Cathedral.
I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here. Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger, for we were all once strangers in this land.
Kristin, it left me almost speechless. Your view?
Well, the comments of this ridiculous woman are completely out of line with the vast majority of Christians in this country. I'm a proud Catholic. The first thing I did when I got to Washington, D.C. is I woke up Sunday morning and I went to the Basilica of the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception. It's the biggest Catholic church in the country. And the energy in that beautiful church was absolutely electric. Catholics and other Christians in this country, certainly Protestants, are overwhelmingly thrilled to have a leader in this country who wants to protect life and also rejects these ideas like boys can become girls that destroy people's lives. So this woman is just completely out of step with most Christians, not all, but most Christians in this country.
It is worth repeating that some polls have Donald Trump's approval rating now on day 1 at 56%, which is extraordinary. So he starts not only with a huge mandate, but with ongoing goodwill from the great majority of Americans. I want to go to another good development for him today. This is Marco Rubio going in as State Secretary. He was confirmed by the Senate unanimously. A strong choice and a really good start when it comes to these getting this cabinet in shape.
Yeah, look, I got to be honest, Chris, when I first heard about Marco Rubio being Trump's selection, I wasn't too thrilled about it. I remember in 2013, Marco Rubio was part of the Gang of Eight. It was a bipartisan group of senators that wanted to give essentially blanket amnesty to illegal immigrants in this country. But in the last couple of years, we've seen Marco Rubio 2.0, and I love what he's been saying since he's been nominated and now confirmed. He wants to put America first. He understands that when we put America first and project that strength on the world stage, it not only makes a stronger America, but a stronger world. So I'm loving what I've seen from Rubio.
Now, there's a nice little touch when he was confirmed today. I want to share it with our viewers. Just to give the background to this, as most of you probably know, he's from Florida. He has a Cuban background. He's Spanish-speaking. And in Florida, there are so many Hispanics, you get plenty of ads on TV like this.
Geico hace el seguro de auto más fácil.
Me dice cuándo.
Fácil con Geico.
With that little setup, here's Marco Rubio, who's about to be Secretary of State.
If I may take the liberty for just 15 seconds to say something in Spanish, because I know a lot of people back home would be very proud, and I want to make sure I acknowledge that. Y más bueno en la historia de toda la humanidad. Y es un gran honor y le doy las gracias al presidente Trump por esta oportunidad. I just said I saved a bunch of money by switching to Geico. That's what I said. So.
I'm more enthusiastic about Marco Rubio than you. You're on board now, but I think he'll be good, and we need. He's got some monumental challenges, which we'll speak about in a moment with Robert O'Brien. But still on the confirmation front, more allegations thrown at Pete Hegseth today, nominated as Defence Secretary. He's worn a lot of attacks. He did very well in his confirmation hearings. Is there any doubt about his place in the cabinet?
I don't think so at this point. I mean, I've read the allegations. Hegseth said that this is a former in-law of his who has an axe to grind against the Hegseth family. Apparently, she's a committed Democrat. And look, the fact is, Chris, at this point, we know Hegseth is not a perfect human being. He's absolutely made mistakes in the past. But on policy, he is a perfect selection. And the Liberals, they already had one scalp with Matt Gaetz. Trump cannot cave and let this happen again. It would be very, very weak. So do I think this will sink the nomination? Absolutely not.